This is an introduction video for business-to-business marketing course. Welcome to study business-to-business marketing. My name is Ville-Pekka Mäkeläinen. I'm a faculty member of International Business Department from Seinäjoki School of Business and Culture, which is part of Seinäjoki University of Applied Sciences. You can find here from this slide two email addresses. The first one, which ends with FI, so that's my email address to Finland, and the latter one is AMSOL email address. We are going to have first week of the class online, and when we meet in the class, so on May 27th, this is my picture, so you'll meet this kind of guy in the class during the first week of actual studies. So when we physically meet. I'm from Finland. I live over here and work in Finland. I'll tell you maybe more about the connection to AMSOL and St. Louis, so when we meet in the class, but I'm flying out so to United States on May 25th, so I just a couple of days time so to adjust before we meet in the class. Well, this is not actually like usual arrangement for the class, but we have been doing this for a couple of years already now, and we have had during the last few years, so first week of the course online, and then 3 weeks in St. Louis, in the classroom, in a regular classroom. The reason for this is like we have had for a few years MBA course over here in Seinäjoki. So during the time when I should be starting the course over there, and we have students from AMSOL coming over here for the course, and we have also students from Aschaffenburg in Germany coming over here, and we have also a few local students. So because the course starts over here, I have to be also here for a short time, and for that reason, so we arranged the first week of the course online. So as I said earlier, so I'll be flying out to St. Louis on May 25th, and then we might meet in the classroom already on May 27th. About the course, brief introduction. So this is about business-to-business marketing, and when you think about the theoretical studies you have had in the area of marketing, so they are in the area of business-to-consumer marketing, so typical consumer marketing issues. And when you think about that kind of like framework and kind of like theories related to different types of marketing taking place, so this consumer marketing is the traditional one, and then consumer to consumer marketing, and its role has been increasing, like for example due to internet, so which has opened up totally new possibilities for individuals to trade with each other. And the third issue which we discuss in this class is this business to business area, where organizations do transactions with each other. Typically, so it's enterprises trading with other enterprises. When you think about like how do we differentiate between these three different areas, so you can say like it's not typically kind of like what's the product. There are certain products which are, you can say like, which are for business to business area. So for example, like large commercial jets, or when you think about like processing equipment in different industrial areas, so individuals don't buy these kind of products. But there are many products which are traded in both, or let's say majority of products are traded both in business-to-business environment and consumer markets. And kind of like when you think about what's the difference, when you think about from this point of view, it's not kind of like what's the product, but like for what purpose the product is bought. So like enterprises buy it for example, for production of certain equipment or services. It's for their own operation, for them to make it possible for them to provide products and services for clients. And another issue which is mentioned in the slide is like how many do you buy? So we buy like one product or maybe two products as individual consumers, but companies can buy 1,000 or 10,000 units of certain item. And then the other issue which is also differentiating between these different fields is like how do you buy? Typically in consumer markets, so individual persons make purchasing decisions. I make a decision to buy like on the way to home like milk and orange juice. There are examples where, for example, like a spouse or children so would also influence and participate in decision making. But in a business-to-business market is totally different because purchasing process is much more complicated and typically many individuals participate in the process. That unit is called decision-making unit. We discuss about that later in the class, but it's typically so many individuals in the organization which purchases something, they have this decision-making unit, and there are different individuals in the organization in different positions who participate in the process. About the course, there's different type of material available. So we have this type of videos which are available for you. Then we have PowerPoint slides and then also readings. So like Word documents or PDFs which are available. And I provide you instructions so for this first week on a Word document. So what should be done, what should be accomplished during the first week before I arrive to St. Louis and we'll meet in the class. So what should be done by May 27th. So check the Word document which will be also available to you, and you can check like what type of issues you should be doing during the first week before we meet. Well, a couple of words about business-to-business marketing and Finland and me. So kind of like perspective, explanation about the perspective from which point of view I'm discussing about the topic. You can say like industry has played until recently a very important role in Finnish economy. When you think about share of industrial production from cross-national products, so it has been pretty high in Finland. Now, especially due to problems so we have faced with telecommunication area, so there has been some decrease in this share of industry from GNP. But it still like plays an important role. Finland is a very small country, so we have like 5.5 million people living in Finland, and if you have like large-scale industry, it has to be export. You have to export the production. Domestic market is not large enough to support a larger-scale industrial activity. So Finland is a very export-driven country, and as mentioned, like also B2B products. Actually, Finland is known more from exporting B2B products compared to consumer products. There are certain examples of successful enterprises operating also internationally consumer product area, but mostly it's B2B. And then when you think about, we talk in the beginning of the course about relationship marketing, and relationships have been typically very important in business. So you establish kind of like long-term relationships with the suppliers, for example, as a buyer, or other way around, and then you tend to work with these known, trusted suppliers. This way you can say like policies have been also changing towards more like short-term orientation in this respect. I mentioned earlier about telecommunications, very typical big industrial areas which are still major players in Finnish economy are metal industry, different type of like machinery and so on included in metal industry, and then pulp and paper, and those have been traditionally these kind of like bigger industrial sectors. About my own background, I have engineering background. I have studied industrial engineering and management, and so mostly it's business studies, but anyway, so some, especially in master degree, so I had also like engineering studies from mechanical engineering field, but then later like for postgraduate studies, so only business. And then I have been also working in a company, so operating in B2B field. I'll tell you more about that. It's kind of like it's a company which at that time was involved with different type of, especially with different type of process industries, as a supplier of kind of like highly specialized equipment, for example, for pulp industry, chemical industry, different type of process industries especially. About the cooperation with between Seinäjoki Business School and AMSOL College of Business Administration, we have had a very long cooperation. Faculty exchange we have had for a long time. We have, for example, next week faculty staff members coming from AMSOL here, and we have also student exchange, especially at master level at the moment. We have these MBA group visits, so Finnish students coming to St. Louis, and as I told you earlier, so we have St. Louis students coming to Finland, for example, next week. And then we have also this three-way cooperation, so where in addition to AMSOL and our school, we have also this University of Applied Science from Aschach